Hello, every hypno yogi, and thank you for joining me on this simple solution for the Master's Cleanse. I'm actually on day 7 right now, and I'm feeling pretty good. So, I'd like to share with you exactly how to make this super easy. You're going to need a few things. First, you want to purchase the Master's Cleanse book. You want to read through it so you understand the Master's Cleanse. Second, you want to make sure that this cleanse will be okay for you. And you need to do that by talking with your primary care physician. You always need to make sure, because things like diabetes may cause complications with this type of a cleanse. Another thing that I would highly recommend, if you're looking to lose weight, you want to buy the whole program that comes with this CD or this video that you're watching right now. And the reason why is because there's a lot of things that will lead up to being able to do this cleanse the most healthy way possible. One of those little tips is to get off of coffee. If you're eating a lot of coffee and sugar, then it's highly likely that you could experience extreme headaches and things like that. So you want to be prepared to do this. I've lost a total of 60 pounds so far on this technique alone. Another technique that's in the program, I was able to lose 80 pounds on that one. And that is part of the path to get this far. Now, there's a lot of information out there on the internet about the Master's Cleanse. And it can be really tough to incorporate in a busy lifestyle. And since I am also a magician, a clinical hypnotherapist, a personal fitness trainer, a nutritional counselor, a full-time single dad, and on my path for licensure as a clinical mental health counselor, I've got a lot of stuff going on. And I know that a lot of you also have a lot going on. So, making this as simple as possible is one of the most important aspects of this to be able to succeed. Now, this is my second time doing the Master's Cleanse. The first time was really tough, but this time I've been able to exercise every single day, and I feel great. So, you may want to do this cleanse a couple times a year to really get the full benefits from this technique. You're going to need a bunch of things. First, to make it really simple, it helps to get this bottled water. You want natural spring water because it has more minerals than the other stuff. This is going to really help you sustain your nutrition as you're going through this cleanse. Make sure that it is 100% spring mountain water. I usually buy these in cases of 40. This last time I bought 4 cases, and at the time of this recording they were about $5 each. I got those at Costco, but you can get them anywhere. I've gotten them at Walmart, I've gotten them at the grocery outlet. They're just pretty much everywhere. Even Safeway, any regular grocery store will have bottled water for you. So that's the first step. The second thing that you're going to need is sea salt. You want to make sure that you are using pure sea salt. The reason why is because they put all kinds of additives in the other salt, and it would defeat the purpose of your cleanse if you're using salt that has anti-caking powder and things like that. I actually use the rock salt. You can use granulated salt if you wish, but this is just what I have on hand, and I like to keep things really simple. Another thing that you're going to need is red cayenne pepper. Red pepper. This stuff's pretty cheap also. If you can get all this stuff organic, that's going to be better for you. You're going to want to have pure maple syrup on hand. And I'm not sure if the book has been updated yet, but they just recently changed the grading of this 100% pure maple syrup. When I read the book, it said that you wanted Class B, Grade B maple syrup, but they recently changed the grades so that what used to be Grade B is now Grade A. And I know that sounds kind of confusing, but just make sure that you're getting Grade A 100% maple syrup. This is not pancake syrup. You do not want a syrup with high fructose corn syrup. You want pure Grade A maple syrup. It has more minerals, which will carry you through the cleanse much more healthily. And finally, you will need lemons. The closer to the garden and the more organic you can get your lemons, the better off you will be, and the better cleanse you will get. Hippocrates said, your food should be your medicine, and your medicine should be food. I believe he also said that the closer your food is to the garden, the more healthy you will be. The reason for that is because the closer you get food to the garden, the more alive it is, the more enzymes and vital nutrients are inside of that product. You're also going to need some tools. To make this simple, I like to use plastic spoons. The reason why is because after I'm done with the cleanse, I can just throw these away. There's no dishwashing. Of course, you do have to wash things off as you're going along, but if you really want to keep things simple, you could throw these away after each time. I personally prefer to reuse them. You'll need a knife to cut the lemons. You'll also need to use some kind of a juicer. Now this is kind of one of those old school hand juicers, and I do prefer to use this one just simply because I feel like I'm doing something. I get to work out. And the first time that I was doing my Master's Cleanse, I have to admit, my hand felt like it was cramping up a little bit from juicing all these lemons. You'll be juicing a lot of lemons. It felt almost like a T-Rex hand or something after a while. But once you build up those muscles, you're good to go. I also have a basin here that I'm going to use to wash off my juicer, just simply because you're going to want to clean this off after each squeezing, because it can get caked with little particles of lemon in there, and it's hard for the juice to really seep through when it's all clogged. So just giving it a nice little rinse after each squeezing will get you set on track perfectly. So the recipe calls for at least 6 to 12 of these Master's Cleanse lemonades per day. On top of that, you also need to drink your daily water, which should be half of your body weight in fluid ounces. For me, half of my body weight in fluid ounces equals about 4 of these bottles. I've actually been drinking 4 to 6 bottles each day, but like I said, I'm being really active right now, exercising throughout the whole Master's Cleanse. So I've been needing to stay more hydrated. Plus, it's summertime. In the mornings, what I've been doing is I've been making tea out of my first 2 Master's Cleanse lemonades. I simply just pour 2 of these in a pot, let it boil, and then I steep white tea inside of it. And the reason why I'm using white tea is because a long time ago, an old Chinese man told me that white tea helps clean out the blood. Plus, it has less caffeine. When I was first starting out with this cleanse that I'm on right now, I was using just regular black tea. And it energized me way too much. Then I remembered what the old Chinese man told me, and I decided to switch. I feel much better since I've done that. So if you want to add white tea for an extra blood cleaner, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I'll do that with 2, and then I'll have 2 in the afternoon. These will be the ones that I'll be preparing for you. And then sometimes if I need it, I'll have 2 more in the evening. When I have my 2 in the evening, I like to add a sleepy time tea or something to it to kind of help me wind down. But before we get into the tea, part of this Master's Cleanse is to eliminate yourself of toxins. So what we need is a diuretic. And the Master's Cleanse calls for a salt solution. I believe it calls for either 1 teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon. You're going to want to check your book to find out for sure. Of this pure sea salt. And the way I make that is I'll just drink each water down, and I'll do this all throughout with all the lemonades that I make also. I drink them down to the label. Pretty simple. Now, since I am using the granulated sugar, it does take a little bit longer for it to dissolve. So I'll actually shake it up a bit, and then I'll set it aside until after I'm done with the rest of my lemonades. When you drink this one, you want to chug it down as fast as you can. And the reason for that is that the faster you can drink it down, the better it will work to help you eliminate toxins. That's the first bottle done. Easy peasy. Now for the second phase of this, and that's to actually make the lemonade. Once again, we'll take 6 to 12 bottles and drink them all down to the label. You may think that that's a lot of water. But since you're fasting, and this is all that you're eating, it's really not that much. Throughout this whole cleanse, I would suggest that you stay near a bathroom because you do have to eliminate quite often. Plus, it's very important to stay hydrated. And there can be a tendency to not drink water or lemonade if you have to go to the bathroom really bad, especially after you go pee. Now that you've drinking all of your water down, I suggest to set things up in a way to where you can make this super easy. The way I prefer to do this is I like to take off the lids, set them aside, make sure my knife is on the cutting board, have the lemon on the cutting board, get the cayenne pepper in front, and the 100% grade A maple syrup on the outside of the cayenne pepper. I believe the recipe calls for 1/4 of a teaspoon of the cayenne pepper. But to be honest, this stuff is not rocket science. It's not like baking. I was a chef for many, many years, and baking has to be exact, or else your bread won't rise or the cakes won't be fluffy and things like that. This is not like baking. This is simple. It's okay to throw things together a little bit. So the way I do this is I'll just take my plastic teaspoon and just get a tip of the cayenne pepper. You can kind of do this to taste as well. You do want to have plenty in there to help suppress your hunger. But I kind of like spicy stuff, so I don't mind having kind of a heaping corner of the teaspoon on there. You just drop it in there. Mind you, this is taking a long time for me to show you, but when you actually do this, it'll go by super quick. And we're done with phase 1 of the lemonade. Phase 2, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the grade A 100% pure maple syrup. One tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. So I'll pour 3 of these in there. These actually do fit the whole of the water a little bit better than a big old tablespoon. So I do recommend using a teaspoon for this. I also recommend using 4 teaspoons instead of just 3, just because there can be a tendency for some spillage, and you can make up for that. It's okay if it's a little bit sweeter. The way I like to set this up, so that I don't make too huge of a mess while I'm pouring things, is to think of this hand almost like a lever. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up and then just dump. Fill, dump. Fill, dump. While I'm filling it, I'm actually keeping it angled towards the bottle hole a little bit so that if there is spillage, it goes right into the bottle. See, even doing it that way, sometimes you get a little bit of spillage. Which is why I always like to put that 4th one in for good measure. In culinary arts, there's a term called mise en place, which is French for everything in place. If you have a rag near you, it's easy to clean up any little mess that you have. That's kind of what mise en place means. Everything in place helps you do things quicker and helps you clean up after yourself as well, so that you can also clean as you go. I highly recommend cleaning as you go because it'll help reduce your work at the end when you're having to put everything away. One thing I would suggest is that you hold the spoon with your non-dominant hand and pour with your dominant hand. You may be a little bit shaky using your non-dominant hand at first, but after doing this for 10 days, you'll get it. And that is another note, that this Master's Cleanse is supposed to be a minimum of 10 days, as far as I know. You're going to want to check your book once again to confirm that. but I would definitely suggest go for the 10 days. Some people go for months. 10 days really helps you feel great. Since I have everything in place here, I can clean as I go, very simply. And I'll set that aside for later. I'm also done with the spoon. We're almost done now, folks. All we have left to do is to juice the lemon. This is pretty much the easiest part probably for you because I'm sure you know how to juice a lemon. But I'll go ahead and demonstrate this for you anyways. It's always important to have a very sharp knife. A lot of people don't realize that most cuts actually happen with dull knives. Because what happens is with a dull knife, the food will roll under it and then that's how the fingers start getting in the way. So it's important to always have a nice sharp knife so that you're able to just cut right through it with the greatest of ease. You're going to juice your lemon. Always make sure that if any seeds fall down in there, you pick them out because the seeds could cause a problem, especially if you have diverticulitis or anything else. Plus, the seeds will make your lemonade bitter, and no one likes bitter lemonade from old seeds floating around in there. I do kind of like to push things through a little bit just to make sure I'm getting all the juice I can get there. Oh, and it looks like I do have a little bit of a seed there, so I'm going to go ahead and pluck that out. Another part of having everything in place is having the garbage can in the right place. And it is a very small detail, but it really helps. I like to have my garbage can right by the cutting board. That way everything can just drop right in there. Everything's really close together and in place. So we add our lemon, fresh squeezed lemon. And that's our first lemonade. We just shake that up. And it's time for the very last one. And while I'm juicing this last one, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about myself. I run a company called North State Hypnosis, where I help people lose weight and achieve all kinds of goals. If you are looking to achieve a goal, you should really check out my website. If you're looking to lose weight, then once again, you really want to have this whole Best Lose Weight program, which will include hypnosis CDs to help you get through this cleanse. Because let's face it, achieving a cleanse like this can be really difficult to just willpower yourself through. And using the power of your unconscious mind to help motivate you through also makes it really simple. So if you'd like more information on any of the products that I can give you, or any of the services that I provide, you can either just give me a call at 530-828-0880. You can check out my website at www.northstatehypnosis.net. I also have another website, which is www.hypnoswami.com, and you are my Hypno Yogis. I may be the Hypno Swami, but I couldn't be the Hypno Swami without you, Hypno Yogis.